Hi dear friends, I'm Father Chama and I'm glad to come back in order to continue with the topic that we began. We were talking about making hedges in a couple. In other words, taking preventive measures in order to protect the well-being of your couple. And in our last chat, there were some questions that remained pending. And that's what we want to tackle to answer in this chat. Of course, when you talk of making hedges in the couple, taking preventive measures, you should know the enemy, you should know the threat to your couple. Against who are you protecting your couple? Where is the enemy? In fact, they are both external and internal threats. It means what's going to pose a threat to your marriage is not something out there, but also from the couple itself. So let's look at the external enemy. As external enemy, you have persons out there who have no value for fidelity, who have no respect for what belongs to others, persons who desire or who are attracted to your spouse, or persons who attract your spouse. Your spouse is actually attracted to them. These are possible threats, and we can call them enemy to your couple. Besides, we are living in a society with easy interactions with few boundaries. Through school, work, church, social interactions, with easy means of communication. The organization of the traditional society with its mechanism of separation doesn't just work today. You are a married man, a married woman, but you share the same workspace with someone's husband or with someone's wife. You can hate each other, or you can be simple friends, but also you can be intimate friends, even more intimate than you are with your partner. And there you have the recipe, you have all that it takes for things to happen. So given such exposure, it becomes necessary to have in place measures of protection as hedges against the external intrusion. Apart from these external threats, there are also internal ones. So let's look at these forms of internal enemy, internal threats. What may provoke unfaithfulness are not just bad people out there, but also the partners themselves in a couple. This can take different forms. It can either be the weakness of the partners as individuals or the weakness of the relationship as a couple. So let's begin with a couple. A couple that is living in a chronically conflictual relationship and where there is serious lack of friendship between partners, there you have a fatal soil for infidelity. I can add also to say that a couple that is seriously handicapped economically is vulnerable. In fact, if you look at some of the reasons why people engage themselves into sexual relationships, money is one of them. It's just a reality of our society. The satisfaction that partners don't find in their relationship will be sought elsewhere. And as individual partners as individuals may become vulnerable to infidelity due to a number of factors. the quality of the relationship can either make you strong or susceptible. An unhappy couple may tempt you to seek outside what you don't get in your relationship. Other personal factors may include the type of work you do, especially if it involves frequent and prolonged absence from home. Your upbringing also counts, especially the type of family in which you grew up. Was fidelity a value for your parents? And it depends also on your moral virtues as a person, your capacity to be faithful to your commitment, to your engagement. So, what would be the type of edges to be needed for both external and internal threats? Let's begin with external edges, that is, the type of edges that you need for external threats. I think one important thing that you shouldn't forget is the importance of declaring your relationship. Let people know of your relationship. Marrying before civil or religious authorities is the way of rendering public your relationship. Be proud of your partner. Don't be ashamed of introducing them to your friends or workmates, and be ready to speak about them in a positive way. In that way, you are not selling yourself out as someone in need of rescue from a miserable couple, from a miserable relationship. Ideally, it's important for a couple to be living together. Prolonged absence doesn't render good service to your marriage. Don't expose yourself or your partner unnecessarily to danger. That's why, for social etiquette, for the Bemba people of Zambia, when a man, for instance, comes and finds that his friend is absent, only the friend's wife is there, normally he shouldn't stay, especially when there is no one else around. Why? An unbridled familiarity can lead to trouble. It's good to bear in mind that there are not rare cases where problems in a couple are triggered not by strangers but by close family friends. In fact, when there is a problem in your couple, there is tendency to compare your spouse with their friends to the point of entertaining the dream, I wish I was married to his or her friend. I would have been better off. When you are harboring such thoughts towards your partner's friends, then it's important to take precautions in the way you interact with them. When you appreciate the risk, you take the necessary steps to mitigate it. Let's move on to the type of hedges you need for internal threats. For internal hedges, you think of those concerning the individual partners and as couple collectively. Let's begin with internal personal hedges. Cultivating value for fidelity and being coherent with one's commitment. Know yourself. Know your strengths and know your weakness, and then act appropriately. That is, know what renders you vulnerable. It could be alcohol, or is it desire for money? Then know the safety valves to put in place. What amount of drink to take, where, and in which company. Why do I insist on knowing yourself and putting in place safety nets? It's because often people begin with no intention whatsoever of committing adultery, of being unfaithful to their partner, but they end up in it. So, knowing yourself includes admitting that you are vulnerable. You are not stronger than anyone else. You are a human being, you are attracted by others, and you also attract some people. There is nothing wrong with that. What matters is what you do thereafter, taking into account the existing relationships. You are married, maybe the other also is married. So how careful are you about putting hedges in place? So, do you have a crush on someone? How are you handling it? Don't deny it. Admit you are feeling something for someone and then run away if you must. The situation worsens when you don't want to accept and to face what's going on, and so you don't run away. And you want to minimize things. No, there is nothing. And so you put no edges. You don't put boundaries, no barriers. If you don't admit there is something out there to hurt you, you won't run away. But remember, you will be caught up. Running away is not about avoiding people, but rather facing what's happening and taking the respectable distance, especially avoiding those situations where you see yourself defenseless. For personal internal edges, there are things to look at: the eyes, actions, and the mind. But we shall develop these aspects in the next chat. For now, just feel free to encourage and inspire others by a comment. You can leave your comment or contribution in the comment space below the post. And feel free to join us on WhatsApp and Facebook group, Couples Corner. And you can also subscribe on my blog, singlehumanity.com. In that way, you will be receiving all news posts straight in your email box. For now, it's bye, and take care of your couple.